These totes pretty much fit anything that you can think of in here. If I were to recommend one or the other to at least start off, which one would it be? Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is May, and today I wanted to do a comparison video in regards to two pieces which I feel are very similar but totally different at the same time. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Today's video is going to consist on a comparison in regards to my Demellier New York Midi versus my Polene Cyme in the size mini. I will be sharing sort of like what fits inside as to like particular pieces. I will be sharing also mod shots on my particular body type, and last but not least, I will be letting you guys know which of the two I prefer to go with first, because I do feel like they each suit a specific spot in a handbag lovers collection. However, there is one that I would recommend to go with first versus the other. So let's start off with just the basics of the Demellier New York Midi, and this one does come in a larger size with a longer shoulder strap. This one that I have here just comes with a top handle and with a removable, very thin, in my opinion, crossbody strap. Honestly, I have no idea where I placed mine because I knew that I was not going to use this bag as a crossbody bag. I personally just feel like it's too cumbersome, it's too large, too overwhelming to be worn crossbody. But if you did want to have the option to do so, then it does come with a crossbody strap. In order to get into this particular piece, it just has a magnetic clasp closure, as you can see here, and then it is just one big open compartment. You do have a slip pocket in the front, and then you have a zippered pocket in the back. There are no other pockets around the handbag, and you do have 4 feet at the bottom. Moving on to my Polene Mini in the model Cyme, and this one is in the black color. I forgot to mention the Demellier is in the color burgundy. Here you can see that this bag has a little bit more versatility as to style wise. This one in particular comes with a top handle as well as a very generous shoulder strap for you to be able to throw over the shoulder. It does not have any pockets on the exterior. The silhouette and just like the style of the handbag on its own is very sleek, very slimline. To get inside, you do have the same sort of closure, so it is a magnetic clasp type of closure. And then inside of the Polene Cyme, you do not have any pockets, but she does come with a pouch which you can detach. So it does come with this very generous pouch. I feel like you can fit a good amount of things in here. You can use it as a cosmetic pouch, or you can use it just as a pouch to carry anything that you want to have easy access for. And last but not least, the Polene Cyme does not offer any metal feet at the bottom. All right, so I will be popping on the screen right now the sizes of both of these pieces as it is detailed on the website. However, I did get a few messages, and I totally agree with this question, that you all wanted to know really specifically for the Polene, the sizes of when it is cinched out completely as well as when you cinch it in. So in case you're new to the Polene Cyme, you are able to use it like this with the sides cinched out. However, it is a magnetic sort of style, so you are able to unhook that magnet basically and then cinch in the sides, and then they will kind of magnetize themselves. I swear I am the worst at like describing things, but yes, you can basically just go ahead and cinch in the sides like this, and now you basically have like a whole new handbag in my opinion. So I love using this particular style of the Cyme for nights out, or if I'm not carrying too much during the day. I feel like this smaller style is better for those types of occasion, and same thing, you can carry it as a top handle, or you can also go ahead and throw it over the shoulder. Really quick, before I do get into that size comparison with it cinched out and cinched in, I did want to say that the leather straps will start loosening up and getting soft over time. A lot of people are kind of worried that these will kind of just stick up, especially when you want to wear this as a shoulder bag. As you can see, mine have softened up over time and they just fall like so. So it's very easy for me to throw it over my shoulder. Honestly, this is one of like the easiest, most user-friendly handbag in my opinion, because as I said, the leather will start giving over time, especially as you use it more and more. All right, so for measurements with the sides cinched in like this. In the highest part of the handbag, it measures approximately 11.5 inches, and in the sort of middle part, which is where I feel it'll like pop out the most, it measures a total of about 12.5 inches. So I do just want to point that out because as you can see, she cinches in a little bit here, but she is wider out at this part. So you have about an inch of a give in order for you to put your things inside. Now let's go ahead and cinch out the sides and see what that looks like. All right, so measured at the top with both sides cinched out, it is a total of 17 inches. Honestly, I wouldn't go based on the sides cinched out too much, because at the end of the day, what you really have as capacity wise starts at this point on, because you're not going to have anything hanging out here on like these sides or like these wings of the handbag. So you might just want to go ahead and consider whatever it is that you're going to put inside based on the 12 inches that it runs from this end to this end, just so that you can have a better understanding of how things will fit in here. Go ahead and measure the Demellier in the midi size from the top part with the sides cinched out. These you cannot cinch in, so this is just the style of the handbag as a whole. And this one measures a little bit more. I would say it's almost close to 18.5 inches from one end to the other on the top part. Now again, let's go ahead and measure it. I would say basically starting at this point down here, which is more or less where you'll be able to kind of know that you can put things inside, because again, you don't want things hanging out kind of like in the wing section of the handbag. Okay, that was a little complicated to measure because I didn't want to measure it from the outer part, because as you can see, this kind of pops out, so I was going to give you incorrect information. So I measured it from within, and it is about 12.5 inches. So this width from here to here is about 12.5 inches more or less. Hopefully that helps. I know that that was something that I got asked editing May here, hence the outfit change and picked up hair. One thing that I did want to mention and totally slipped my mind was actually the clasp options or the magnetic options that these handbags offer in order for the cinched out kind of silhouette. So on the Polene, it does offer a magnetic in order for them to kind of stick together and give you this cinched out style. I know at the beginning a lot of people have questions and a lot of people hesitate in regards to the wings kind of staying cinched out like this. Since the bag does come packaged with this actually in this form, so that, you know, the box isn't too large, at the beginning it kind of just molds itself and kind of stays like this for the most part. However, the same thing that applies with the top handle applies with this in the cinching effect. Once you start styling it like so, the bag will stay cinched out like this, and you won't have any issues of it kind of like disconnecting and kind of, you know, folding back in, which is something that I have seen when people are unboxing this particular style. I have had mine, I think it's gonna be almost a year. I took it on a trip to London where I used her a ton. I also took her on a trip to Doha where I also used her a ton, both cinched out and cinched in. I use her a ton here at my hometown because such a good bag, honestly. So it's just to show you that, you know, the cinched out sides will stay put, as well as they will once you go ahead and cinch them in. It's just a matter of kind of like the handbag adapting to, you know, the silhouette that you have her in. So I have no issues. Even when I go in, you know, they do unhook obviously, because, you know, you want the bag to open up like so, but it's very easy to just kind of put them together, have them go ahead and hook, and you're good to go again with the smaller option. Now for the Demellier, that option is a little bit different because it is not a magnet. It is more of a clasp style, if you can see it there. So it actually is a button that you do have to close. Once you open the bag, you can tell it automatically just opens, because obviously that closure isn't too strong. So when you do have the bag kind of, you know, carrying it like this, let me go ahead and close it just to share with you guys better. When you do have the bag like this and you want to get it open, that closure there will open automatically because it's not a very strong button snap. So I hope that that helps. I don't think that that's a con, honestly, because if I'm opening the bag, it's because I want to see everything at a glance. So I'm glad that it does that rather than me having to, you know, open it in all the button. But yeah, it'll just open like this, and then if you want to go ahead and snap them back closed, you can do so. I honestly never do. I keep them open just because I feel like it's easier for me that way, and the shape has stayed, you know, extremely well. There hasn't been any issues. Before we jump into mod shots, let me share with you how my 13-inch MacBook fits in both of these handbags. So here we have the Polene Mini size, and I have mentioned it in the review video that I did do of this bag, but if you are planning on carrying the MacBook on a consistent basis, like this is a bag that you're going to use to carry a laptop in, I would definitely recommend going the larger size, because as you can see, the MacBook sort of sits right here. It doesn't really sit flat at the bottom of the handbag because the base of the handbag is a lot smaller than 13 inches. And I do think that that will definitely cause a lot of wear on this part of the leather if this was a bag that you would choose to carry your laptop in on a daily basis. Now for the Demellier Midi size, I actually have not tried it, so we're gonna find this out together. But yeah, pretty much same thing. So the laptop, again, kind of hits right here at these corners, where technically you should be okay because it seems to be like the bottom part of the bag. Let me come up close. Like here's where it starts cinching out in order to give this like wing effect. So I feel like you will definitely have less wear in a sense than if you were to use it on the Polene Mini size. Again, that is up to the user and how it is that you feel. Keep in mind that this is a top handle bag. I'm already carrying it just with the laptop inside, and it is definitely heavy. So I do feel like having the shoulder New York tote would maybe be a better option if a laptop is something that you do plan on carrying while using this particular handbag. Okay, now let's do some mod shots. Just wanted to share how it is that these pieces fit on me. I am 5'3", about 140 pounds. So here's what it looks like on the top handle with those sides cinched in. And let me share with you what the Demellier Midi looks like side by side. Keep in mind the Demellier Midi will always have these sides cinched out, and then let's go ahead and cinch out the sides of the Polene Cyme so that you can see what they look like side by side. The Polene Cyme, in my opinion, will definitely fall on your body a lot closer because the bottoms are definitely different in size. The Demellier New York Midi is definitely wider at the bottom than the seam, as you can see right here. Another quick point that I did want to touch up on, and that is the leather of these two pieces. So I have shared previously how some handbag brands choose to add like a specific very light kind of coating over their leathers, and I honestly feel like that could be a huge advantage just because it is going to allow your leather to wear better over time. However, when you do touch the bag or when you are looking at the bag, you can definitely see the difference when a bag sort of has that light coating over top, comparing it to those that don't. And Polene Cyme definitely shows to have a bit of that coating over their grained leather option. I will point out that the Demellier New York Midi definitely does not show that kind of coating. I have to say that the grained leather of this piece, you can tell that it's soft, it's yummy. It's not a very mushy leather, but it is a very nice leather to the touch. So if you do prefer kind of having like that natural leather shine through and not have something with a little bit of a coat over top in order to protect it, I mean, I think you can even see it in the camera how this one kind of shines a little bit more due to that kind of like clear coating that they go ahead and put over top. So if this is more of your vibe, then definitely consider the Demellier over the Polene. Let's get into the million-dollar question, and that is, if I were to recommend one or the other to at least start off, which one would it be? Can you guys guess? it's going to be the Polene Cyme in the mini size. Don't get me wrong, I love my Demellier New York Midi, and as I said, I feel that both have a specific spot in a handbag collection. However, if you were considering one or the other, I personally think that the Cyme, specifically in the mini size, is a great option. You're going to have a lot of versatility, as you do have various ways in which you can style it: top handle, over the shoulder, cinched out, cinched in. And the capacity of these bags are pretty similar, so I don't think that you're missing out from one if adding the other. But just for the versatility aspect of it, I do feel like the Polene Cyme is a lot better. Now, price-wise, you are also winning if you go for the Polene Cyme. This one, I believe, is about $490, while the Demellier is almost $600. So you are saving about $100 difference. All right, guys, so that does it for the quick comparison in regards to these two pieces. There are a ton of videos out there sharing kind of what fits inside and so much more, but I just wanted to get to the nitty-gritty and address certain questions that I had gotten, which I feel were important, and also provide my 2 cents, and best of all, give you guys my opinion as to which one of the two I would pick first. If you have any other additional questions in regards to any of these two pieces, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, I appreciate you all for taking some time to hang out with me today, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Bye, everyone.